Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello,
Lean the
hello.
Wisdom audience, our Virginia's virtual viewers, we are so excited that you are leaning in. On today, I have Miss Concetta Lewis. She is a certified John Maxwell leadership coach, teacher, trainer, professional speaker. I'm going to have her give a brief bio to Wings of Wisdom listening audience and Virginia virtual viewers, because we are going to dive deep on some lessons in leadership. So, Ms. Concetta Lewis, the floor is yours.
Hi, everybody. Virginia, first of all, thank you for having me and for inviting me today. I am super excited to just come on this afternoon and share a few minutes, because one of the things that has really kind of been in my spirit lately as it relates to leadership is that concept of courageous leadership. So I founded Leadership Teaching and Learning in 2017 as a way to help, because each and every one of us has leadership capacity within us. And every day we have an opportunity to lead in some kind of way, no matter what we do. So it doesn't matter what your job title is, what you do. You could be the cashier working at Target. I promise you there's an opportunity within the day for you to exemplify leadership. So I really started this as a way to help individuals and organizations build their leadership capacity and understand how to move themselves forward as individuals, but then even to help organizations and teams come together and be collaborative and move forward together. So when I think about courageous leadership, I think as a K-12 administrator. So for those of you who may not know me, I've been working in the field of education since 1993, have served as a building administrator, have served as a lead teacher, have served as a school district administrator. I've even served as president for some nonprofit organizations. And what I've discovered more and more is that to really be able to have an impact and make change as a leader, you're going to have to make some courageous decisions. And sometimes those decisions aren't, you can't necessarily just always go with the status quo. You have to kind of break rank, as they say sometimes, and do something different if you want to get a different result. So I know you didn't ask me for all that. So I don't know what else you have on your agenda or how you want to talk, but that's just something that I think we have to think about. Sometimes we think of leader as the person who just kind of sits up and just tells everybody else what to do, but there's a lot more to leadership than that.
Yes, yes, yes. When I think of leadership, because Wings of Wisdom is built on biblical principles, I think of those women in the Bible,
Yeah.
like Esther, who led, the Jewish people. And it's amazing because we look at the men, like Jesus chose 12 men, and seemed like the leadership always come from the male perspective, but coming from the female perspective.
Listen, you just touched on something right there, Virginia. Now listen, I haven't read the story of Esther in a long time, so if I don't get it exactly right, you can correct me. But if I recall correctly, part of Esther's story was that um, she had to have the courage to go before the king and deliver a message, right? And first and foremost, during that time, it wasn't like today, right? We got a vice president that's a woman. Women were not looked at in the same way at that time. And so for her to have to be the one to go and deliver that message to the king, she was literally risking her life to go and deliver that message, right? And I believe she was like, I'm going. And if I, perish, I perish, like whatever happens, but I have to move forward and be courageous. And those are the type of decisions from leaders that change trajectories, right? That have massive impact. If she hadn't gone before him and shared that information, the remainder story of that story would be different. But because she went forward, she had an impact on a whole nation. Is that my memory serving me correct?
You are right on target, my dear. And just, in our era, I think of like Rosa Parks. That
Yes.
day, she just led, not really, she just was tired and she led. She was, when you
Listen,
say enough is enough, it's almost like you're pushed in that
Virginia. Now,
leadership
this is
role.
what I want the people to know. We haven't rehearsed this at all. What Virginia doesn't know is my team, I tell them all the time, things are going on. And I say, y'all know what? I'm going to take my Rosa Parks moment in this moment. And when
Mm.
I say that, that means that I am about to take that courageous, bold move. And for the sake of doing the right thing, I don't care what the rules say. I don't, because the world I live in, from a special ed perspective in schools, we have all these rules, right? And you're supposed to, and I'm like, I don't care what the rules say. I'm going to do the thing that is ethically and morally right. And so for that, I say, I'm taking my Rosa Parks moment. So I love that you used her because that's my thing. I'm like, I'm taking a Rosa Parks moment.
I love it. I love it. Leadership is so vital because I truly believe trapped in every follower is a hidden leader. But it's self-discovery.
I
It's
love it.
almost like being introduced to yourself when you move into that leadership role. And but the biblical
Listen,
principle again, Second Timothy say, "Study this, show thyself approved, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth." So you study. I don't want to give these individuals a little bit of your bio because
oh
you
yeah.
paved the way. So hit your bio for me just a tad bit.
So and it's interesting. Oftentimes, I even had one of my team members say to me, she was like, "How are you able to do what you do?" I said, "Listen, what y'all don't know is this is years in the making. Even as a child." So I graduated. I'm gonna go way back, right? From if anybody's out there from Detroit, I graduated from Cass Technical High School. We still say that is the best high school in the city of Detroit. But from there, I went to Michigan State University, got my bachelor's of arts in education, got a master's degree in administration with emphasis in human resource management. And then I also have an ed specialist degree in school district superintendency, school district leadership. So I've done that. In addition, my mother, at the age, I think, of 15, she had me in everything from junior achievement to pre college programs. I spent 6 weeks on the campus of Michigan State when I was 15 years old one summer. I took Dale Carnegie in high school. So there have been a lot of things that have gotten me to the point that I'm at today, but it's also I am also continuously growing and evolving. And when I joined, even I'm a John Maxwell leadership consultant. When I joined that team, part of it was about letting me make sure that I continue to grow myself because that's important, but also how can I help other people grow? And one of the things that we do, and you were talking about that self discovery piece. So, one of the things that I do when I'm coaching my clients, I like to start them with what we call a DISC consultant. And that disc assessment allows them to truly dig in to understand what their strengths are as an individual and also understand what areas they may need support in. So I think part of being a leader is knowing the things that you are good at, but also knowing the things that you're not good at, because no leader can do it by themselves. You really have to have a team of individuals that work with you and support you in this process. And if you don't have that, then you aren't going to be effective as a leader. One of the examples that sticks out, I just talked about our Vice President, Kamala Harris, but the President of the United States, in and of himself, doesn't have power. It is those around him that have that power. He is really more the facilitator of the process that is happening. But without Congress, without the Senate, things aren't going to happen. There are some executive orders, but still they can reverse the executive orders if they choose to, right? So there's always balances, and you have to have a team that works together to be able to really move things forward, no matter what you're doing.
Yes, that is so powerful because nothing happens without leadership. You know,
Nothing.
nothing changes without leadership.
And as the leader, you have to be willing to be the responsible party, right? So even though you have a team, you have to be willing to be that responsible party, to be the one that is going to say, you know what, yep, I'm going to own this. I'm responsible to be that. You can't say I'm gonna let it fall on the other people. A real leader stands up to say, yep, we made a mistake on that. Yep, we have to redirect on this. That in and of itself is true leadership.
It really is. Tell me this: what are some common obstacles or
Mm.
barriers that you've observed in female leaders?
I think there are a couple. One, I think, is fear, right? We are afraid that if we make a mistake, if we do something wrong, that we will be out. But the only way to truly learn and grow is through making those mistakes, right? So it's about making sure that you're in an environment that allows for that growth and capacity building. Um, and I think the other one is not thinking that you have to do it all yourself. As a woman, sometimes we feel like, oh, I got to do everything. I got to do everything, and I'm giving you three now, and you want everything to be perfect. Everything's not going to be perfect. Sometimes we have to make sure it is done, even if it's not perfect, right? And so sometimes we get stuck on wanting things to be this particular way. Just listen, let it be done. It might be 11 fine, and you want it 12, but it's okay. It's not the end of the world.
Yes, let it flow, let it flow, let
Yes.
it flow, right? Yes, once again, if you missed that biblical principle nugget, Second Timothy 2:15, study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. So you dot the I's. You said it's a process. You cross the T's.
And
Now you're in this leadership role and have been for 25 years.
yes, and you talk about rightly dividing the word of truth, right? It's important to truly walk in that truth. And again, sometimes rightly dividing that word is acknowledging we made a mistake in this, or acknowledging, yep, maybe that's not the best way to do this. There is a better way, and that's okay. So I think rightly dividing that word of truth as a leader is really learning to be reflective, again understand what your strengths are, what things are your weaknesses, and then learning how to navigate through those, because we all have them. Even as this, I know we aren't, this isn't necessarily about equity, but when you think about biases and how we sometimes maybe see other people, we have to again be very reflective about the individual biases that we bring to situations and how that could potentially impact our roles as leaders.
Yes. Wow, that is really powerful. In your experience, what are some essential like qualities or characteristics in
Mhm.
a successful female leader?
I think you have to be authentic and you have to be true to yourself. So I think it stems around authenticity, honesty, and being empathetic with your colleagues and coworkers, those that you serve. Um, and then I also think, but also, this was the other thing I was going to say earlier, letting go of fear. So I think sometimes fear holds us back. And if you're in a meeting, what I've noticed is we're in meetings, and let's say it's more men in the meeting, they just saying their ideas, right? And we over here with our hand raised, waiting for someone to acknowledge us before
Mm,
we jump in, and they just jumping into the conversation. And so we have to become courageous enough to just jump into the conversation and not sit on the side and wait for someone to call us in. We got to call ourselves in.
gotta bring your folding chair if they don't have a chair set up for you, right?
Yes.
Bring your own
Now,
chair.
now Virginia, that folding chair could take us in a whole nother direction.
Wow, that is really powerful. But nothing advances without leadership. And the key, like you said, a lot of times that holds us back is fear. And I remember when I was in Les Brown's program, he would always focus on that acronym fear, and I would say, "Oh, false evidence appearing real," and he said,
Yes.
"No, face everything and rise." things.
Yes.
And that's the courage. And that's what you did when you established courageous leadership for women. It's powerful.
Yes, because you said false evidence, but the evidence might be real. It might be accurate, but we have to move forward in it. So I love what he talked about: face everything and rise. That really is it. That's right. Jump to it, Juanita said. I love it.
Yeah, so give Wings of Wisdom, virtual viewing audience, one last golden nugget and tell them how they can reach you and what your program actually offers.
Yeah. So one last golden nugget is that you are enough, right? Sometimes we feel like I'm not enough. I can't do this. You are enough. Don't worry about. Know that everything that you need is inside of you already, and it's up to us to bring that out. So I invite you to reach out and connect with me at ConcettaLewis.com, ConcettaLewis.com. And there you will find access to a free workshop. It's called Core Values. And that talks about really starting with understanding what's important to you. And that really will guide every other decision that you make in your life. So today I want you to remember that you are enough. And take some time and focus on you. And like I like to say it like this, as the kids would say, bet on yourself.
I love it. I love it. Bet on you. That is the
Yes.
key, ladies. Face everything and rise.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I am so happy, my friend. We met in the Wealth of You community
We
where we was
did.
learning how to build generational wealth, and you had a leadership role even then. So you've always
We both did.
yes, yes. And I love this now that we're coming full circle again and spotlighting you and featuring you on Wings of Wisdom.
I love it. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you is so welcome. So welcome. So, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, now is the time to share on your electronic toys. Miss Concetta Lewis, you can actually go to her website, ConcettaLewis.com. That's ConcettaLewis.com.
Yes.
And find your purpose, find your gift. And once that seed is planted and it is watered, God will give the increase.
Yes.
So you have to do your due diligence and studying to show yourself approved.
Yes.
A workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Have a wonderful Wednesday. We're so glad you were able to lean in. Have a great day. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.